John Caparulo, and this is my co-host Brian Shinanigan.
Hi.
We're coming to you live from Wise Guys in Las Vegas. This is our new podcast. We don't know what the name is. Probably something about the basics. It's basically like when Rocky went back to Tough Gym in Rocky 3. It's like I've been coming to Wise Guys for the past year or so. Other than I headlined a couple times, and I started coming back for the Tuesday, Wednesday, and to shoot my Caplets episodes. And I met guys like Brian here, and some of the other guys you're gonna see coming up. And it's been really inspiring for me to kind of come back to this sort of stage of comedy where it's like, I'm talking to a lot of guys who are really at the beginning stages of comedy, and I'm, I've been doing comedy over 25 years, and I'm living proof that it doesn't get any better. You really don't really move past this stage. No, so it's kind of been cool to be able to, come back, work on my own, new material, get back to sort of like the roots of comedy, and then also be able to talk with a lot of these guys who are newer to the comedy world. And, after doing it for a while, I was like, hey, maybe we should make a podcast out of it. So here we are.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's I think it's great because we're at Wise Guys, like Cap said. I come here. I've been here every week since the club opened. I virtually never miss a week. I'm always in here doing the work. Comedy is work.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing comedy now?
6 years this week.
Okay.
This week.
6 years this week, really? Oh wow. Oh, so you're coming up on your anniversary.
Yep.
Oh wow. That's the 6th. Oh, that's a special one.
Yeah. What is that? Is that paper? I don't know. It's the gift.
All
for
you
6.
really do is every anniversry year you just look back and go, wow, I got shit else to do, huh? But no, it's cool to see because everybody in comedy, there isn't really a blueprint that anybody goes through. Everybody sort of you have to develop at your own pace, and some people develop quicker than others. Other people never develop. I mean, and it's always an interesting sort of thing. But it's cool. So we're all gonna do as usual. We're gonna do our sets tonight. We're gonna work some shit out. We're gonna probably you'll probably get some laughs. Probably not. Probably bomb some. At least I'll try. No, but we're gonna do our sets. See some clips from our sets. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about those and see how it goes.
Yeah, stick around for some more comedy coming to you.
Let's have some fun. Thank you. I like it when I hate when there's fucking people here. There's not so much pressure this way, it's not even a show, it's more like a fucking support group, we're just here for each other, and, cause it sucks outside, so, that's fine. I like that we have the kind of room that TC can come up here and say that I'm a take a shit at home kind of guy. There are some places on earth where that's not a type, but that's cool. I mean, I think everybody's I prefer to take a shit at home kind of guy, but I'm also a guy that's like I don't want to shit in the car kind of guy. It's like I rather than have to revisit this diarrhea every time I get back in my car. I think I better find the quickest, fucking grossest spot I can find and let it go. Good to meet everybody, by the way.
My name is Brian Shinanigan, just to remind you, FYI. Oh, guys, my girl got really into crypto. Anybody into crypto in here? Yeah, good. That's the right answer. I don't fucking understand crypto. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. I'm not a big stocks guy, whatever. If I have extra money, I'm investing it in weed. You know what I'm saying? It's a solid investment. Solid. Nobody can tell me wrong until I eat it or, never mind. But no, it's great, guys. I think you should really get into it. It's a really popular crypto. They accept it everywhere, even Jack in the Box, it's government subsidized. It's called EBT. You guys heard of that? No, I've been trying to apply. They keep saying I make too much money. Come on, what kind of thing is that?
Man, this has been a week for me. I got into a fight with my Uber driver. I don't mean like I fought my Uber driver. When I say with, I mean me and my Uber driver fucked somebody up together as a unit, okay? What happened was I was waiting for an Uber on my way home from work, and he came and picked me up. Apparently he cut somebody off on the way, so the dude came and met him there and like trapped us in, right? So he starts yelling all these racial slurs at my Uber driver, and I felt obligated to protect him because he's my ride, and I don't want to take Lyft, right?
Good. All right. Hey.
How's it going?
Good set. Okay, so first of all, I know you said this is completely true. Is that a true story?
That is 95% true. Yes.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah. You want to see a
Wait, when
picture?
did this happen?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
I have a picture with the Uber driver. You want to see
Really?
it?
Yeah, of
Yes.
course I do.
Let me find it here.
And we'll put it on the pod for you guys
Yeah,
to
we'll
see.
put it on. Yeah, so that actually happened, man. And I was like, this, like, I've been in Vegas for 2 years, and this is like one of the craziest things that's happened to me since I've been here.
And you threw down with her, and was there any repercussions afterwards? Nothing?
No, nothing, man.
Really?
So the part that I left out, because it wasn't necessarily as funny, was the Uber driver like punched a hole through the guy's windshield and like cut his hand up.
That is fucking funny, dude.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I just thought it was more messed up. So yeah, so look, he cut his hand on the glass.
Damn.
When he punched
Wow.
the windshield. Yeah. How can I get close here?
Yeah. We'll get a
we'll
cut.
yeah. All right,
We
we'll
have technology.
We'll put it on
sorry,
there.
we have technology.
In
That's
post, yeah.
We'll put it in
Still,
post.
that's badass though. That's
Yeah.
Like,
Obviously, he didn't like
I hope you got 5 stars too. Fuck.
Yeah. I was like,
'Cause,
dude, I was like,
yeah.
you better leave me a good
I
customer
mean,
review, man.
because if
How many
anybody's
people-
ride or die, that's you. I mean, that's who you are. I mean, because when you first started talking about that up there, I was it did remind me because I remember thinking that before too. I was in New York and I was in wasn't Uber at that time. It was just a cab, but I just remember thinking like how like the driver was bitching about everybody else on the road.
Yeah.
And like I realized it was like I had to back him up because he's my guy.
Exactly. He's your ride.
I mean he's responsible for me. He's my driver. What good does it do me to back up So I'm just the whole time like what was that little girl doing in the crosswalk? Why was she even there? She shouldn't have been there. I get it. No, I'm with you, brother. And so it's like you have to back him all the way because. You're captain. You're captain, man.
I trusted him, man. Part of it was honestly, I just had a bad day and I wanted to get home, and this guy was delaying that.
Yeah,
so
true.
I was kind of just trying to be tough, hoping he would back down so we could fucking leave.
Yeah.
But it didn't turn out that way, and I was like, well, fuck it, man. Like, we're here, dude.
That's fucking great, though.
Yeah.
And then after that, you just moved on with your day, huh?
Yeah. I went home, got home, smoked a bowl, ate some
of
cereal.
course. Because
I played some UFC. I was like, let me turn on UFC and play that.
Because that's just how shit goes down for Casper.
Yeah, man. It was just another day, man.
It's just the Vegas life, baby. Living it.
Yeah, it beats walking. Right?
It beats walking, man.
That's all right. That's all right. That's cool. Well, all right. That's but yeah, that was. Is that the first time you've tried to take that to the stage?
No. So I've kind of been. That's like my second time doing that. So I'm still trying to get the rhythm down to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely a keeper. You have to do that.
Yes,
because
of course.
It's such a funny story.
Yeah.
In and of itself, you have to do it.
Exactly.
But it was good, man.
Yeah,
thank
you. I appreciate that. I just want to figure out what to add and.
Put in the fist of the windshield thing. I think that is good because that really escalates the situation.
Yeah, and I'll have to try that. Because it's I love it here, but the one hard part is that sometimes the 3 minutes can be like I need a little more because I want to something like that. That's a little bit of a longer bit. You know?
Yeah.
So I'll have to try that at another place. But
I mean, it's such a good thing that it's a good bit to even do when you're doing a longer set to do that bit early so that you can come back to that again later.
Yeah.
And be somebody else driving you somewhere. It's and then we had to beat the piss out of this guy.
You got to beat this guy up too.
Yeah, I seem to get in fights every time I get a ride. But that was good, man. It was really
Thank you,
good.
man. I appreciate
really
it,
good shit, man.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that one evolves.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Good stuff, brother.
Thanks for coming on the pod, man.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
And my Uber driver was from Afghanistan.
So I just kept hearing, you mother bitch! You mother bitch! And I joined in with him too. I was like, you mother bitch! You mother bitch! And then we sped off and went home. And the funniest part was, on the way back, we were bonding. You know how you like talk shit after a fight? Like, yeah, he thought he could mess with me? I told you, he's from Afghanistan. He was like, dude thought he could fuck with me? I fight bullets and bombs, bitch! I was like, damn! 5 stars, 5 stars. That's my homie, man. Me and him bonded. So before I get off stage, I'm gonna say this. If any one of you ever start shit with Abdullah Ahmed Ukhbar Jr., you're gonna have to fuck with me, okay? I love you, Casper. Bye.
I was in a few places recently that I've never been to before. I was in, me and Brian went to Jackpot, Nevada. That was fun. So it was a boyhood dream of mine to go to fucking Jackpot. Yeah, we drove there in the dark too. It was like fucking going to the moon. It was weird shit. It's like, it's just, just fucking straight across the fucking Nevada, man. It's weird shit, but.
One of my friends, she's a Latina, she's a fiery Latina, but she's one of those people, she like don't speak Spanish, but every word that's a Spanish word, she like has to pronounce it with that accent, She's like, no, it's quesadilla, quesadilla. I'm like, I don't think the guy at Taco Bell cares, okay? Like, he's minimum wage, he definitely doesn't care. Eat your Doritos, Locos Tacos, and move on. But we started watching Star Wars together, you know what I'm saying? I love Star Wars, guys. I'm about that life, I grew up with it my whole time, and especially during the pandemic, I was really living a Star Wars life, because during the day I wore a mask, at night I wore a CPAP machine, mask all the time. Full Darth Vader lifestyle, that was me. But we just started watching like the new Star Wars stuff, she's getting into it, new generations kind of discovering it. We were watching the Boba Fett stuff. You guys watch the Boba Fett at all? Anybody see that? Doesn't matter for the purpose of the joke. So, but we're watching it, and she's like, everything she sees in the show, she puts that accent on. So she's like, oh, is that Boba Fett? Is this Mos Eisley? And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, what? They're on a desert planet. It's run by gangsters. Their main export is drugs. I know space Mexicans when I see them. I'm like, God damn.
All right. So
that did not land too well. That did not land too well. A little bit of a
I thought it landed okay. I mean, it was okay. So you're talking about the accent. The way people say Star Wars stuff with an accent, basically.
Because we started watching Star Wars with my Latina friend, and she's one of those people who's always like quesadilla, Nicaragua.
Right,
Don't speak a lick of Spanish,
Latin word,
but everything is like that. And so all the Star Wars words were Spanish. Darth Vader, like that kind of. I was like, whoa, Princess Leia. I was like, we're going too far.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's more or less like it's not so much a whole bit unto itself. I mean, it is a bit, but it's something that like. You can bring back to. It's a good callback thing, like we were talking about earlier with Casper. We were talking with Casper about the like taking the the thing with the fight thing and then sort of bringing it back, or with Anne Marie and the talking to the wall thing. It's like it's the type of thing that you can sprinkle back in, which is like because it's just it's on the surface. It's like okay, it's funny, but I don't know if there's. You just can't go that deep into it because it's just sort of a thing like it's just kind of a one note
because it has to stay high enough level because Star Wars is still you still got to be into it to know the names,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows Tatooine, Mos Eisley, nobody
they
knows.
Should by now.
Well, yes, you think so, but then there's the people like I never watched Star Wars, so it's like but for a main audience, that's why it has to be. That's why I'm more leaning into the Latina part of it than the Star Wars part of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Star Wars gets the member berries for all the people that love Star Wars, but the joke part is more the the way she says the words.
Yeah.
So and I missed I missed 2 tags and the closing joke on that, and I'm like fuck. But I'm the only one that knows.
You want to go back up?
I'd be like, hey guys, I know that you've seen a lot of comics, but let me just tell you this one more piece of that bit.
But it's still it's still something that it's workable. I mean, I think you have so much more I think that you have a lot more personalized material that's in your set that I've seen from working with you when we went on the road. So, I think that it's like, it's one of those things that, like, as a comic, I know people told me early on it was like to always focus on the more personal material, that it was just that because it has more, it just has more substance to it, because it really not only entertains, but it tells people who you are. And like, that's what I wasn't surprised at all when we went on the road, but it was like I still hadn't heard most of your stuff. So basically what I'm saying is, people watching this podcast, you're in for a lot more treats from Brian, because we barely scratched the surface as far as his stand-up, because you do have a lot of really good stuff. You had a really great sets when we were on the road, and I think you have a lot of really good personal, Brian material that's very good. I can't, like, sit here and be the guy who said, no, you should have more confidence in what you're doing, because I know I myself am still that way, where it's like, I'm just, I'll be on in front of an audience, I'll be like, well, you know what, they're not that into me, so I'm just gonna try to wrap it up, give them a few laughs and get out of here. But it's like, I think you're, I think in a lot of ways it's like, I think your own sort of insecurities and self-consciousness go into that a little bit. So where you're like, well, I don't want to burden them with this, because they're not really that into. And it's just, a lot of times it's just like, they're not necessarily like, laughing as loudly as you need to bolster your, kind of bolster your ego and get your energy up. But it's like, they're but then when you find out afterwards, it's like they were totally with you. So I think it's one of those things that's like, you have to remind yourself, it's like, all right, I belong up here, I'm good.
Well, and
Just
that's, you said the same thing. You still go up there and go like, oh, what should I even be up here?
Like I said, I'm the wrong guy to be telling you that, because I have that same shit going on. But I mean, from an outside perspective, you should remind yourself that you should know that.
And honestly,
so,
that's really what I had to do.
And you can also have, you can have sets where it's just like, even if they don't get your bits or your material, it's like they still like you. So you always have that going for you. So it's like, if they just think, okay, but this guy's a funny guy, I don't have to worry about, like, okay, maybe the stuff he was trying to do tonight just wasn't hitting, but it doesn't matter because this guy's, funny. So it's like one of those things. It's like, it's hard to know that about yourself and remind yourself, because I mean, anybody who you really think that about isn't going to be, I guess, egotistical enough to think of themselves as like, oh, but they're not laughing at anything, but I'm still great. Yeah. It's like, so it's kind of a delicate balance, but it's like, but I think you did better with your set tonight than you think you did. But it wasn't as well as you wanted.
It wasn't. I missed some jokes. I was scrambling for time, because they say 3 minutes is not a lot of time. Well, it is when you run out of jokes. You want
to be the guy who respects that time and not the guy who fucking runs over the light.
But then I was like, well, shit, I got another minute and a half here. Well, here's another bit. All right, well, that bit was totally different than this other bit, so it's like, all right, that's out of context. And then I did another one there. I was like, all right, I'm just doing a 30-second bit here, and that one didn't land well, and I'm like, thanks, guys. Enjoy my 12 seconds I got left.
Yeah. Fuck yeah! All right. Yeah. So I'll just start by saying I do believe in STDs. I have a lot of faith that they're there. I mean, yeah, I've never had an STD, because I've never put myself in a lot of jeopardy there. But it's I never understood how, like, that. Like, for me, it's like I never understood how that shit gets spread. Like, really, when you think about it, it's like, if I had an STD, I'd go, all right, well, I guess I'm done. It's like, I can't imagine people with fucking, like, genital warts and shit. They look down and it's like, oh shit, my dick looks like a toad. I should go get some pussy. All right, yeah, I think the best thing for me to do is to share this with the community. So, yeah, I don't feel shy at all. You know, what's that bump? Nothing. Shut up. It's fucking gross, man. Quit fucking sharing your warts. That's just how I feel about it, and that's the platform I'm going to be running for governor of Nevada on. So, hey, I want you guys to get out and register, because we can make a fucking difference, people, you know? This fucking, we're going to guilt trip people about their fucking warts, is what we're going to do. Just fucking keep your warts at home, god damn it. The way I started my set tonight, too, was like, one of the other guys before me was talking about STDs.
Yeah.
And, you know, he kind of came from a perspective, you know, I don't know him that well, but he seemed like a dude who, like, didn't have any problems of getting chicks.
Yeah, no.
So it's like
Will Hunsinger he's a handsome comedy gentleman.
So right. So when I have when somebody goes on before me or talks about stuff like that, it's like I have the complete opposite perspective of anything related to whether it's dating, sex, because I come at it with just absolute awkwardness, and I'm appalled by a lot of things. It's like I'm just completely the other end. So it's like it always makes a really fun, you know, discomfort makes great comedy.
Yeah, it's a perfect
I'm so
contrast.
uncomfortable with all that stuff. So
Yeah.
so it really is it's always a great place for me to, you know, to do comedy from, because it's really it's
well, and also I think it shows, you know, like it's like I'm definitely not that guy. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because that's the thing, as a comedian, I think, you know, the biggest hurdle you have to get over when you first start in is like establishing, you know, what they always say is your voice, and establishing your voice is basically your point of view, and establishing like, okay, this is who I am, this is the point of view that I'm coming from. And it's easy when you find something that is really, you know, it's almost like you want to talk about something that's so far outside your point of view that, you know, you can show where your point of view is better from. And I don't think about that in detail before I go on stage, obviously, but it really, over time, I think I've learned that is just like the most uncomfortable things are really the things that kind of show who you are and where you're coming from the best. So.
Well, yeah, because I mean that's a lot of comedy is breaking that tension. You set that tension, you break that tension.
That's what makes what makes it so funny.
When you can break that tension with your opening line, where they're, you know, still riding off that last comic, it's just it's so perfect. I love when you do it too, because it's you always build on the last person and you set the tone for your set.
Yeah, and that's something I learned over the years. Well, at the Comedy Store, because we never had like a host even. You know, we did tag team.
The next
so
one
it was like
you
bring up the next guy, and it's like, so, you know, it was always weird, especially like, you know, if somebody did really well before you or anything like that, it's like, you know, you're kind of like, okay, I'm coming in and I'm joining this conversation, and it's like it's really hard to just completely shift gears, at least for me, where I'm just gonna be like, all right, I know you guys were all laughing about whatever the last guy was talking about, laughing about all the stuff that they were saying, but you know, now I'm just gonna go, all right, let's just shift you and let's start back at zero, and we're gonna get to know John. It's too hard. It's like you just feel like you're butting into somebody, or you're crashing their party, you know. So it's like it's better to just go, okay, what are we talking about here? What have we been laughing about? Okay, let's take something from there and just go, all right, I have a perspective on that topic, so let me just seamlessly join the conversation. And that's so it's it's always been the most fun for me too, because it really does help you, you know, to develop, you know, more material. To just go, okay, I'm going to talk about something that I hadn't written in the car, I hadn't talked about before, even if it just like the person ahead of me reminds me of a bit that I do about that particular topic or related to that topic. Even it makes you start from like off a different foot. And that's the whole thing about with you know, with comedy and growing and developing as a stand-up, is like you have to like you can't get robotic, because once you get robotic, you start to lose the feel for what you're talking about, and it's just the impact is gonna lessen each time, and it's gonna dwindle.
Well, and when you can build on, like you said, build on their conversation, it's like especially if you have a killer going in front of you, it gets you off on the right foot with the audience. It establishes that, you can riff on that thing, and then, hey, I'm fun too, let's talk about my stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of just going up and being like, hi guys, have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Because it's so hard to, because when you think about it, you're like, okay, if I'm gonna, if you have a set in mind that you want to do, okay, tonight I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna open with this. I'm gonna start with this, and it's like, you just don't know what the vibe's gonna be when you first take the stage. You just don't. So it's like, it's better to just leave it open to okay, I want to talk about this stuff. And, I knew I was going to get into the Everett, Enumclaw, that stuff. I knew I was going to start that, but the way I start my set is okay, that's just subject to whatever's going on before me that makes it all right, I gotta basically be awake when I walk up there, because you can't just go, all right, I was just planning on doing this and I'm going to go up and do this, because it's so hard. It's such a scary situation for me to think about that anyway, to go okay, I'm just gonna plan ahead of time to know that they're gonna be cool with me starting this way, about this, saying this. It's too hard to do. It's most of the time it just won't go well, because you can't plan for that. So yeah.
No, and honestly, it's like I said, you can't really follow the guy that's talking about ass eating with your what about the grocery store bit? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
The audience's his head is in such an other place that even if you wrote a funny bit, you're gonna waste it there. Yeah. Because by the time they get on your side, you're done.
Yeah. So it's like you wherever they are, here. It's like you have to meet them there to start,
and then bring them into your bit.
Yeah.
That's honestly that's a good piece of advice. That's really
some fucking insight.
That's solid. That's what you came here for. This solid insight into the comedy mind, and that's what we're here for. We're talking about this. That's real comedy. That is an intangible that honestly you can only get from 25 years of comedy.
That's episode 1.
That's been the show. Episode 1.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, come back live every week. We're gonna have new comedy, fresh stuff, and bring some people to light that haven't been seen.
And some old shit that could improve.
And some old shit that's gonna get better, or some shit that we couldn't make work at all. That we're gonna try again.
It's gonna be comedy. God damn it.
That's what I hear. We're here for comedy, and that's all we can promise you is comedy.
Yeah.
Not always funny comedy, but it is comedy on paper. So, but come back. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Brian Shinanigan. With me is John Caparulo, and see you next week.
Thanks, guys.